I'm here at Univers d'Esther, which is one of my favorite bookstores in Paris, and I'm here with Inna Segal. Thank you for accepting this interview.
Thank you. Thank you for interviewing me.
And we're going to talk about her book, The Secret Language of Your Body. So tell me, you're actually talking about intuitive healing. Is that right? What is it? What is intuitive healing?
It's a great question, Lily, because intuitive healing is about connecting to your own body, and your body has so much wisdom. It has so much knowledge inside, and it's just so amazing when you can connect to that inside yourself and have that wisdom available to you at any point in your life. And so that's what I'm really passionate about. That's what I teach people, and that's what the book is about: how you can connect to your own body, to the wisdom inside, and start to understand the messages that the body has to give you.
So how do you do that? How do you actually look inside? I mean, how does this work happens?
Okay, it happens. What I do is I get people to first connect to their body physically. And the way it happened for me was that I was very sick. And because I was sick, I went to see lots and lots of different practitioners. But I went with an attitude that probably a lot of people can relate to, which is, I'm here, come and fix me. I've shown up. And for 2 years, I was going and seeing enormous amounts of people. And then finally, I got to a point where I woke up one day and I had many different issues, but the biggest one was my back. And I woke up with my back being completely twisted. So kind of half of me was facing one way and another half of me was facing another way. And I was in agony. So I had already been seeing chiropractors and different practitioners for a while. And I said to my partner, Paul, at the time, take me to the chiropractor. I am in agony. I don't know what to do. And the reason I said to the chiropractor was because the chiropractor was about 2 minutes drive. And on that drive to his office, I actually felt like I was leaving my body. I was in so much pain that every little stone was like agony. And when I got there, the chiropractor actually came out of his office and he went and he looked at me and he said, "Oh, your body is stuck." And I just looked at him and I said, "I know that bit. How are you going to fix it?" And he said, and he just kind of went quiet for a minute and looked around and he said, "I'm not. Go home." And I said, "Did I hear you correctly?" "I'm not sure that I heard correctly. You want me to go home?" And he said, "Your body wants to be stuck." And I thought, what do you mean it wants to be stuck? How can it want to be stuck? And then on the way back, I was really angry. I was so angry that I wasn't actually feeling as much pain as before, thinking, how could he tell me this? And then thinking, well, maybe he has a point. Maybe the body has a language that it speaks to us in, but I don't know it. I don't get it. I don't understand it. So, and another thing that I had was that I had like this epiphany. I had been going and seeing all these people and kind of giving my power to them, saying, just fix me, I don't know how to do it. And I thought, maybe if nobody else can do it, maybe I'm the only one who can do this.
And you had no medical background or anything like that. You were not from that space.
Not at all. In fact, I was starting to be an actor.
Okay.
You know, that's what I wanted to do, acting, and I was studying journalism, so I wasn't like, this was as far away as you can imagine from me. So when I got home, I thought, okay, because I've done acting, in acting you get taught different things like visualization, and you get taught relaxation and breathing. So, and I had obviously read a few books before to do with healing and spirituality, but to me it was like, I read it, but I didn't get it. It was just like mental. It was just knowledge. It wasn't like something that I could experience. So I thought, okay, I'm going to try this. And I started by breathing because I was still in a lot of pain. And I thought the only way that I could go with the pain was to breathe with it rather than resisting it. Right? But then my mind was going round and round thinking. So I thought, I have to get my mind involved in this. So I thought, what can I do to relax? And I thought, okay, I'm going to count backwards from 30 because then my mind has to think 29, 28. So it's not going to be getting in the way of me trying to relax and heal myself because I decided, like literally, I made a decision. And that's one of the biggest things in healing is that you really have to make a decision. I had enough. I knew that if I didn't heal now, I would be in a wheelchair, and I could not go there. Like that would be the worst thing that could ever happen to me.
But this is when you've accessed a certain kind of wisdom, a certain kind of consciousness. I mean, to think that you had to just count backwards. I mean, your mind is not the one that came up with this. This is part of the healing, right? You're accessing something bigger.
Yeah, for me it was more like I have made a decision, and I think when you really make a decision, you have access to the divine wisdom. Something really special happens. And so I didn't know that at the time, but I do now. So for me, it was like that decision. And what I say to people is that every aspect of me made that decision. It wasn't a mental thing. It was like every cell in my body, every part of me was like, I am going to heal this. This is not a game anymore. This is scary. And I am willing to heal. So as I was counting backwards, I was breathing, quite deeply. I had another kind of message, if you kind of can call it that, from the body. I had a feeling to touch my body, to touch where my pain was. And later on, I understood that when you touch the part of your body which has pain, it's like your brain and your nervous system starts to connect to it, and the energy flow starts to move into that part of the body. So you are focused on what is going on. And because you're touching, you're feeling it much more. And that's what I'm teaching people now. And it's so easy.
So now you teach people that you have to touch that part of your body. And do you actually visualize inside the body, inside the cell, what's going on? Or what's happening from that point on?
So I don't even go to visualize first. What I say to them is touch that part of the body. Let's say it's your knee, because we've been touching knees. Yeah. Let's say it's your knee and you have a problem there. First of all, you need to connect, touch, feel, breathe, and focus on it. And the other thing I say to people now is even massage that part of the body. Get the blood moving, get the circulation flowing so that you can start to actually awaken that part so that it can start to communicate with you. And then what happened to me was, as I was doing that, I decided that I was going to ask my body questions. It just kind of came naturally. I'm going to talk to my body, So I started saying, as I'm breathing, okay, what is stored there? What are the feelings that I'm feeling? And by actually touching and acknowledging and breathing, all of a sudden I became aware of different feelings, of anger, of fear, of hurt, of stress, because I was actually born in Russia originally, and then I came to Australia, and the whole process was very difficult. And so I had stored a lot of emotions, and from myself, from my parents, from people at school, from not knowing how to speak the language in a different country. And so there was a lot of tension in my body.
So all those tensions, are you saying that those tensions that we have in our body are created by certain emotions that are stuck in the body?
It's not just emotions, because I don't believe it's just emotions. I think it's emotions, I think it's energy, it's our environment, it's our lifestyle, it's a combination of everything. But emotions, definitely how we process information is massive. And in fact, I can tell you now that probably you can bring any person to me with a physical problem, and once I start to, and I have an ability now to tune in and see inside the body. Once I start to see inside the body, myself now, and connect to what happened in their life, I can tell them exactly where it came from and how it was created. And I'll share a little experience with you later on. But from my own perspective, it was like my body started communicating with me. And another interesting thing that I discovered was that not all the pain was from me. I was a very nice person, like probably most people, and so whenever somebody had a problem, they would come and tell me. It was like I had a sign on my head saying, come and tell me your problem. And when they would come and tell me their problem, I would listen and I would take it in without knowing that I was actually taking in their problem and their energy inside myself. And then they would feel better and I would feel worse, right? And a lot of people do that. That's why it's not just emotional. It's vibrational. It's thoughts, So I started asking myself, what thoughts, what was I thinking? What experiences as well, did I have to create this pain? And all of a sudden, my body was speaking, and I could see my spine. In fact, I could see all the vertebrae. I could see the inflammation. I could feel what was going on. And at that point, I thought, well, you know what? I've heard of this divine intelligence, and I've heard of this divine help, but I've never felt it. Like, really, not in my body, you know. I've had interesting experiences, but not like where I was getting a healing. So I said, okay, if there is something divine out there, if there is something special and spiritual, you know, help us in any way that can help me, I'm ready and I want this help now.
So how do you go about it to ask divine intervention to help your body? Do you pray? Do you speak it out loud?
I say, you know, now in my book and all the exercises and when I'm teaching, I say to people, actually ask divine intelligence, please help me. Please help me heal this experience, this problem. Bring that energy, bring the light through me. But literally, I just said, divine. If there is something divine up there, I really would like your help, and I want it now.
It's funny how it changed in life. We used to go through institutions and things like that, and now we directly speak to the divine. I find that, I know it's a little bit of a side, but it's funny how we directly can connect now. Huh?
Definitely.
We are more and more powerful, aren't we?
I think so. I believe that. And when I said that, I actually felt it because I said it with all of me. It wasn't an intellectual experience, right? I actually said, I'm really feeling this, you know? And I felt this energy moving through my body, and I felt it was like a light, you know, like a color. And to me, the color was gold. And I just felt this gold color move through my body and relax my body and soften my body. And I felt like this was going to be okay. And then I fell asleep. And when I woke up the next day, 70% of the pain was gone. And I was like, okay, this is real. I didn't make this up. I didn't just visualize this. This is real. I'm different, you know? And then for the next 3 weeks, I was just communicating and exploring my body and just really asking questions, breathing, putting my hands and feeling and giving myself permission to feel.
So how do you, some people are listening to this and saying that's great, but how about if they have some negative beliefs that are in between? How do you unlock that? Do you have any recommendation?
Definitely. And a lot of my workshops, and I teach many, many different kinds of workshops on different subjects, all of them are focused on how you think and your beliefs have such a huge effect on you. And probably the most exciting thing, both in the book and what I teach in my workshops, is that there are ways to release these beliefs, and they are very easy. You know, like it's, you know, I've discovered some ways that are so simple that it's kind of, it amazes people, and the shifts are often instantaneous, you know, where...
Can you share with us what it can look like?
Okay. So one of the first things that I do is I connect to everything, right? So like everything that is in us has to be connected. So for example, I always say you have to connect to divine intelligence first because you need help, right? So you would say something like divine intelligence, delete. And when we say delete, and we might repeat that several times, we would go delete, delete, delete. And the reason for it is because now everyone has computers, and when we press the delete button, we know we're deleting, right? And so our brains go, I get what delete is about, right? Mm-hmm. So I would say divine intelligence, delete, 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 and then I would say an issue like that I don't think I'm good enough in the area of, let's say, public speaking, right? Because a lot of people have that issue. So I would go delete, 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 divine intelligence, delete, 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 all the ways that I'm not good at public speaking. And then I would also look at how I view that, right? So I would say, and all the points of view, and I write that in my book as well. So let's say I have a point of view that I'm not good at it. But if I had actually deleted that point of view, then maybe it's going to change and I'm going to have a different point of view. And point of view is a visual thing, right? But it's also internal because we are using our eyes all the time. We're visualizing things, we're seeing things, but we're seeing it from a different point of view. So we have to release the point of view. Yeah. And then
I can see how it creates more space.
Yeah. it creates space in your body. And then another thing I say is positive and negative charge, because we are charged, right? Charge is not a thought, it's a vibration inside you. And even if you change your mind, you have to release that energy, the vibration. And like, think of it, charge could be like, the negative charge is when somebody really upsets you, they make you so angry that you feel like slapping them. It's not just a thought, your body just wants to go there and hit them, because you're so charged and they've hurt you or they've done something. But often people don't understand positive charge, and positive charge is what I call overexcited and underprepared. So a positive charge is where you think, this is going to be the best experience of my life. This is like the best, let's say in a relationship, this is the person, and you are so excited about them, and then you don't see what is actually going on with them. And then they say to you, well, actually, I don't want to be with you, but you're so charged about them, then you don't see what's going on. So we don't want that. Or another way of charge is when you get a new job and you go there and you think this is going to be the best job ever, and then you find out what you actually have to do. And then you go, I didn't know I had to do that. And then you get depressed.
So how do you see it from a neutral point of view? Is that what you
Yeah, we don't want to have charge. We want to be enthusiastic. We want to have inspiration. We want to have divine wisdom. We don't want to have charge in our lives, right? And so I ask people to release that. And then what I say is, at the end of that, you have to say thank you. And again, your mind realizes that when you say thank you, you accept, right? Like, do you say thank you unless you've accepted something or somebody's done something nice for you, right? So we have to understand the technology of the mind and how the mind thinks. And when you say thank you, the mind goes, it's done, something has been done. And then I get people to use a healing word. And a healing word for me in English is clear. And that's what I've put in the book. And it took me a while to think of this word, because the word had to be used for both releasing something negative and then putting in something positive, right? And when I was reflecting on clear, I thought, well, what do we want? We want clarity, right? So every time we delete something, we're kind of saying to our own selves and to the mind and to the universe, clear. Is this clear for you? And also clear this out of my system. And so we create this ball of energy using that word clear, right? That goes through our body and clears all this stuff out of us. But then not only am I saying clear, but if you use the processes from the book or my workshops, you are saying the word clear. And so by you saying the word clear, you're actually making it stronger. And the more people in the world that use those processes and say the word clear, not only are they making it strong for themselves, but for every other person in the world. And the other thing is that the other thing that they are doing is they're going, we want clarity in our lives. And the brain, because it's connected to the nervous system, is now moving, the energy is moving through the brain and the nervous system. And your nervous system is now being cleared so that your body is now working better. To you at any point in your life. And so that's what I'm really passionate about. That's what I teach people, and that's what the book is about, how you can connect to your own body, to the wisdom inside, and start to understand the messages that the body has to give you.
So how do you do that? How do you actually look inside? I mean, how does this work happen?
Okay, for 2 years I was going and seeing enormous amounts of people. And then finally I got to a point where I woke up one day and I had many different issues, but the biggest one was my back. And I woke up with my back being completely twisted. So kind of half of me was facing one way and another half of me was facing another way. And
I'm here at Univers d'Esther, which is one of my favorite bookstores in Paris. And I'm here with Inna Segal. Thank you for accepting this interview.
Thank you for interviewing me.
And we're going to talk about her book, The Secret Language of Your Body. So tell me, you're actually talking about intuitive healing.
It happens, what I do is I get people to first connect to their body physically. And the way it happened for me was that I was very sick. And because I was sick, I went to see lots and lots of different practitioners. But I went with an attitude that probably a lot of people can relate to, which is, I'm here, come and fix me. I've shown up. And
Healing, is that right? What is it? What is intuitive healing?
it's a great question, Lily, because intuitive healing is about connecting to your own body, and your body has so much wisdom. It has so much knowledge inside, and it's just so amazing when you can connect to that inside yourself and have that wisdom available